walk out to the show and fall at your door. We got that info for you. Touchdown on that plane and buy anything. More than just a podcast for you.
What are some specific things that high school students should be doing to get noticed by college coaches in the world of COVID?
Being very disciplined and staying consistent.
So,
And I feel like the parent, can you guys hear me?
Okay, now I can.
So we hear you, but we don't see you.
Okay, am I back now? I don't know
Yeah,
what y'all people are blowing up my phone. I'm a hot commodity apparently.
That's why you haven't, because they interfering with your call. There you go, you back.
Right, okay. All right. So I feel like parents, like I said, I'm gonna just keep using the word intentional. So many parents just really don't have a clue as to what to do, right? And so they sit back and they do nothing, or they sit back and they don't talk to anybody. And so we're getting.
We lost her.
Yeah, complete. No, she there. There she go. She back.
Go ahead, Toliver. You go, because I don't know what happened. It keeps kicking me out now.
Can you hear us? All right, there you are.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Now we can hear you again.
So okay. So parents, I just think that you guys need to be more hands-on with knowing who, first off, like I said, I don't like the social media piece all that much, because guys are getting on Twitter, they're lying, they're sharing things, the kids are getting excited. Parents, be involved. Ask your young man who is reaching out to him. Ask him who he's talking to. You get a Twitter yourself, mom, dad, so you can maybe start following some of these coaches and asking them specific questions. If parents don't ask the hard questions, the coach is going to tell you.
That's Ange. We lost her. Man, Colorado does not want you to be great.
Yeah.
I know, well, right?
Angela's here. I want to say this. I mean, the word intentional just says so many different things, even each letter, when it comes to your student athlete, your son, your daughter, your child, whoever. If you don't start getting involved with anything and everything that they do in this day of time, including with COVID, we're not going to win. You're allowing someone else to take control over something that they don't have complete control over. You know, I mean, I find it hard for coaches to even think that way with a child, because now they really want to separate the kid from the parent, to be honest with you. They'll tell you they're not, but they really are. Their actions speak it. So for me, it's like anything else. If you're in corporate America, you're running your own business, you still have someone to answer to that's going to guide you to where you're going, whether it's a business consultant, whether it's a mentor, whether it's your mother, your father. There's still involvement. And I don't understand why that piece is so missed. Parents, get involved with your kids. I'm telling you, if you don't, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And it's going to make it even that much harder for the good folks that's coming through, that's trying to learn and get through it, because you haven't done your part with your own.
And don't wait. What are you waiting on? Like, why wait until they're a senior? Why wait until they're a junior? That's what I'm finding. Like, if you know I knew my baby had talent when he was 7 years old, the oldest one. That was the first one. I knew he had talent. But again, I took it upon myself. My husband took it upon himself to nourish that, to encourage it, to make sure that we were putting him always in the right position to do it. And then little baby brother just followed suit. You know, it was like, oh, if Big Brother's doing it, I'm going to be better. But again, that is on the parents. I think we're putting way too much weight, too much emphasis on these coaches. If you've got your baby in the right position, I do believe somebody's going to find them. But if you don't, then you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. People will get mad at me because they come to me. It's the end of his senior year, and now you want to hire me. What am I going to do now? I'm looking at grades that can't go back and be undone.
Girl,
I'm looking
talk
at
about
body.
it.
When we look at film, they're excited. They don't like my session because my session is the academic session. But then when my husband starts talking about film, they start to not like that too, because my husband's gonna look at your body language. He's looking at how you got off the field. He's looking at how many penalties you got because you got an attitude, because mama and them done made you think you Jesus and you not. You got to humble yourself, because again, and this is the other thing that I think a lot of parents don't understand. Yep, you feel like your baby can go to that next, but every level there's competition.
Everyone.
Every level you're gonna have to go and earn that spot. Every level you're gonna have that grit. It's gonna have to be within you. Parents, that's up to us to put that in them. You can't teach heart.
Yeah,
No.
and
You
you
cannot teach
you
heart.
gotta challenge them. Like, you are so right. You have to challenge them early and often. I remember with my son, he was maybe somewhere between 7 and 9. He came to me and he was like, "Mom, I want to play college football." He was the kid at the park. We went to play football because I was going through a divorce and I needed my babies to have male role models. And so, a couple years in, he's like, "I want to play football." And his reason was everybody told him that he couldn't. Even at 5, people were saying, "Dang, Cleveland, you're super small." And he was the smallest. He was. But he made up in his mind, okay, I want to prove people wrong. And from that point, it was about, do you mean what you said when you were 7? Every year, do you mean what you said? Will you do the work? Are you going to do the work? Do you have the right attitude? They're not going to stop saying that you're small. You can't outgrow, you can't, God gave you the frame that you got. You can't run from your genetics. And so for me, like you're talking about, Angela, if you stop letting him think that he the reincarnation of Jesus, and start making you be the one to challenge your kid. If you challenge them, then when they get to college and somebody else challenging them, it's nothing. They used to it. If you challenge them when they get to high school, because one of the things that parents don't understand, and even athletes don't understand, in college, everybody was the big fish.
Pretty much.
Everybody was the big fish. In high school and middle school, you can be your big fish in the pond, and everybody's comparing themselves to you, but that's setting your kid up for failure. You got to get them out of their bubble before they get to college so that they can see real competition, because if you don't, when they get to college, or even when they're in the process of recruiting and somebody else is getting an offer that they feel that they deserve, if they're not used to being challenged, they'll fold. It happens all the time. What'd you say, Angela? They quit?
My junior at A&T right now. Somebody asked me the other day, "Oh, well, why didn't he just transfer?" I said, "Transfer for what?" I said, "North Carolina A&T is a top tier program, and we are now, under our new coaching staff, transfer you." But I'm gonna tell you what my baby boy said to me before he left and went back to school. I said, "Oh, well, son, y'all got another transfer." Blah, blah, blah. He was like, "Mama, I don't care. I ain't worried about that. They still gonna have to come through me." And now, mind you, he played last year, but he didn't get many targets or whatever. But his mind, we know. My thing is always, and I told my husband, I said, when you talk to Coach Barnett, just tell him to target him 4 times. Because if you give him the ball 1 time, he gonna make you know why you need to give it to him again. That's his mindset. It comes from us.
That's
But
my
my
kind of
thing
guy
is,
right there.
he's not worried about that, and he all of 5'7.5" and about 170. But at the same time, at the slot position, baby, he is the best, and that's what we believe. He got the best hands. He don't drop the ball.
Mhm.
But my thing is, we instilled that in him. I used to throw the ball to them when I could. Like, I can't throw it hard enough now. But when they were little, I was throwing the ball to them. Boy, let me see your hands. You got to have the best hands out here. And because of that, he had in his junior and senior year in high school 198 catches. Who doing that?
Mm.
Okay, so
Not
give him the
many.
ball 4 times, and I guarantee you, he gonna give me end zone. If you give it to
Hey,
him
hey,
4
hey,
times.
let me say this. Didn't Tariq Cohen come from there?
Absolutely. Well, but see now it's a different regime now though, coach. It's again Broadway would take the athletes who didn't have the offers and make them. And no shot at Coach Washington because I believe he's building what he's building. But now we've just got all these transfers coming in, and
Right.
they're coming from larger programs and this, that, and the other. So you really got to get in there and get your grit yourself. But
Right.
transfer, no, that ain't what we do. My son, first off, he's gonna get that engineering degree, and second off, if they throw him the ball enough times, they're gonna know who he is.
And that's what it's all about. Like, I don't think that parents understand enough. What you're hearing us say is you're a part of the process, that
Mm-hmm.
nobody can help your kid like you. A
That's right.
trainer, if a trainer is nice, but only if you have the ability to determine if he's the right trainer.
Yep.
Otherwise, he's a waste of money. A 7-on-7 program is nice, but only if you have the ability to even look at the program and say, dang, my kid is a lineman. The 7-on-7, that's skill players only. You get lucky if
Right,
you get one center, but it's skill players. So I'm not going to force my kid to play 7-on-7 because there's no spot for him.
right,
He's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be showcased. Like, you are the part, parents, that actually is necessary and needed. You're the one that's with your kid when they 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're the one that needs to say, oh, we in eighth grade, we need to be figuring out this whole college thing. We need to be aligning. Because
right.
sometimes, and I've had this happen, Angela, I know you've seen this too. Even in 10th grade, it's too late. Even in 10th grade, it's
I can
too
still help
late.
you in 10th grade though.
Some, but sometimes,
Right.
depending upon the classes that you took as a freshman, some colleges that you want to go to, you have to, if you need 3 years of language, and you a junior, it's too late. Or
Right.
if
Right.
you're 3 years of language and you don't realize that till you already in the second semester of your 10th grade, like, okay, sometimes it's just too late, and you're the one that's with them all the time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
being present, being on Twitter, being on Instagram, figure out who in your kid's ear, because it's always somebody in their ear.
And I think Dion just recently said something about we raising cats instead of dogs. Like I'm
Yep.
even with my girls, I'm raising dogs because life is competitive, right? And so we've got to stop babying them and trying because when they get out there, we ain't gonna be their parents, and that's what you got to
Mm-mm.
know too. If you raising a dog and you know he a dog, then you got to let him go. Just like my junior, he's like, Mama, you gonna let me handle it? And again, I'm raising a young man. He's a young man now. I do have to let him handle some things. And again, but at the same time, understanding that these schools don't really respect these young men, knowing where okay, Mama gonna have to step in. Mama bear coming if I need to. But if I don't, if they can handle it, great. But know your kid. Be honest too. Like so many people think they raising dogs, and they the first one to bail them out. Oh well, I want to transfer. That's the one thing I love the transfer portal because it gives the athletes options, and I'm always pro athlete. But the other thing I don't like about it is people run from competition. We ain't never
Mm-hmm.
running from competition. We ain't never scared.
Yeah.
Not over here.
Oh,
That's right.
because transfer number two, I'm gonna spot you one. I'm gonna give you that one transfer because sometimes it's not the right fit. I respect everybody where it's not the right fit. You might say, "Oh, dang, I'm really gonna never get off the bench." So maybe if I want to play, I need to move not because it's anything wrong, but because I'm being realistic about my talent level. I'm always gonna be the number three. Like I'm gonna give you one, but when you get to that second and third transfer, we're gonna have to talk about it. And if you're the high school kid, that I know you guys have seen this, or maybe it's just me because I'm in the high school world a lot. There is no public announcement that you transfer into a new school.
Oh,
That's hella
please,
stupid. Like there's that
please,
that's I'm
please.
no. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no. You transfer because there's an academic program that you need to be a part of, or because you moved. But we're not celebrating the fact that you at your third high school. That's red flag right there.
that's Toliver and them down there. That what is it? IMP or what's it called?
No, I'm not
IMG.
talking
them
about
all.
IMG. I'm not even
IMG.
talking about IMG. I'm
No,
really
but
not. Like,
I don't even like that either though. Like, cause the thing is, like, and Nick Saban said it best. He said he don't even offer kids who, and my oldest son did transfer, but Trust me, that was the best thing we could have ever done. But he said he don't like kids who be jumping from school to school because it shows you that they don't know how to deal with adversity. You are going to come up against adversity at the collegiate level, even at the high school level in some states. Come on, y'all. You gotta be a dog and you gotta know anything can happen. And then lastly, like Tarver said, you gotta know what God has for you is for you. Can't nobody take it.
And
Nope.
I promise you, I'm not anti-transfer. I'm an Army brat. I did high school on 2 different continents. My junior year, I went to 3 different high schools in 2 different countries on 2 different continents. I'm not hating on anybody that transfers for legitimate reasons because it happens. But when you the kid that you transfer because you're not the big dog, you're not getting playing time, you can't get along with the high school coach, bruh. You definitely no college. As a parent, if you don't like sit yourself down and be like, we need to have some conversations. There's some character things here. If he can't deal with high school, we dang sure he ain't gonna deal with college.
James,
That's
you
when
so
you catch
funny.
and release. Just, hey,
Tyler
come on
got
now.
something to say about them transfers.
I'm just saying because I'm not anti-transfer. I spot everybody. I mean, look, I went to, let me see, Patch American High School. I went to Hanau High School. I went to Carthage. I went to Indian River. 4 different high schools in 2 different countries on 2 different continents, all as in high school. So like, I'm not hating on nobody that transfer, but there are reasons. And I've been looking
Right.
at some of these high school kids like, you a junior, you on your 3rd school, and it's not because your parents got a promotion. I mean, come on, like red
Right.
flag, red
No, and
flag.
you know, we get a lot of people calling us, asking us, because most people in our area know that our son transferred. Like my husband's coaching at the school that he transferred from now. But anyway, you know, but I always advise people, you know, I look at the pros and the cons. You know, some people may need to transfer, but we never transferred out of fear of competition. That's all I'm saying
Absolutely,
to you, because in the league, you don't get to transfer. You know what
Nope.
I'm
absolutely.
saying? In the league, you know, you don't get to do that. Like you might be, you know, a Jalen Ramsey and you say you want out, or you know, somebody like Deshaun Watson or whatever. But everybody ain't them, and even those instances are few and far between.
Yep.
So you don't, you know, don't
And,
start
it,
that, because again,
and
it's your mindset. Like if you
And
yeah,
can't compete, why are you there?
yep.
girl, and then
And it's a process. It's still a process to get out of that contract, you know, just
Right.
like any other legalities. But you know, I listen, I look, my baby boy transferred. They both, I'm gonna just be honest. A lot of people don't know this, but they both went to Trinity at the same time. One was
okay,
going in as a freshman in high school. The other one was a 5th grader. So when Kevin left, you know, you got these young coaches that kind of picked up the ball because some other coaches left and there's some movement around and they're doing things different. And I'm saying to myself, okay, where's the recipe you had when you brought the dogs through and the cats through that
Mm-hmm.
made the dogs made the cats? So when my son gets his opportunity, I don't see that same mentality or that same transition or that same process. Dogs pulling the cats along.
Right.
And I gave him 2 years, his freshman year and his sophomore year. And then his sophomore year, his brother came. His brother flew home from LSU to watch that spring game. And he had the audacity, he told me, he said, Daddy, I get it, but Dad. I said, well, that's your high school. Go over there and tell him. He went over there and told him. He said, man, y'all ain't gonna let my little dude get one rap? Like,
Hmm.
one rap? He didn't play no time because it came to a whole different, it wasn't about the kids at that point.
Right. Right.
And I'm looking at his whole practice every day, what the coach is doing with all of them, all the DBs. So then I started seeing a little favoritism, and then I started seeing, you know, where the head was. But mind you, the defensive coordinator and the DB coach that had Kevin, now he's the OC because, you know, or the DC because he's doing something different now. He's he's got this young guy that played there that's doing the DBs. I'm saying, man, this thing work. So we can't get no burn at JV.
Okay.
we can't get no reps. So what happened to the dog pull a cat along process? That's what got
Right.
me over that community anyway. Because that was my same development for my kids. I'm going to develop and grow and coach, and I'm gonna do all of those little things so that the little one could understand, regardless of what sport he gonna play. So I
Right.
transferred after his sophomore year, and you know what the coach told me? Well, we did have some plans for him. We was gonna start doing some special. I said, Coach, it's not even about that. It's not even about. I said, I told you, I'll never talk to you about playing time. And as a matter of fact, that's your motto. You don't come talking about no playing time. I watched 2 years how you took my dog. He's a dog, but you made him look like a cat, and you didn't pull him along. So you didn't. One, you didn't
Oliver,
believe
that
in him.
whole
Two,
thought
you didn't give him an
process,
opportunity.
that whole thought process, like, just
So it
think about
changed.
what you just said. Like the fact that you showed up at practice, you could clearly articulate the difference. This is what the old
Yes.
staff did. I promise you, 99.9% of parents who transfer from high school to high school have zero idea about cultural change.
No, they don't.
That right there,
James, the coaches didn't change. It's just the roles changed.
no, I'm saying cultural, the
The
culture,
culture.
the
Mhm.
program.
Yeah, I heard that part.
So like the
But he
thing that's
he-
super important though. That's a good
he didn't
thing.
they didn't have a coaches change. They just changed roles.
No way.
And I'm
Right.
saying to myself, I was like, really, dude? Y'all flipping it like that? Guess what? We still cool today. I still go over there. We talk. They give me what I want. They get what they want. It's still the same thing. But what you wasn't gonna do was stop this last one from getting his opportunity.
Right.
So he goes over to a school out in the boonies called Baldwin, off of 301, a country school, and he explodes.
And see, well, and I think the moral to the story is, again, we're not sitting here telling anyone to not transfer, but
Right.
what we're saying is, you got to know your situation and be true to your situation. Because again, just like James said, ain't nobody hating on a transfer. But I
Nope.
know personally that people in my area started transferring because my son transferred. One of the number one reasons my son transferred too, though, outside of football, was academics. I was having to fight with the teachers to bump him up into honors classes because he was an athlete. Where they do that at? Like, I'm telling you, my son needs to be challenged. I'm telling you, if my son is making an A in your class, he cutting up and he probably giving you hell in your class because I know my kid. But I was having to fight. I was having to override
Fight with them.
every single one of his classes. And so that was the number one reason really for me, because academically, I knew if I get my son in the right place academically, he's gonna soar. It don't matter what he loves football.
Right.
So that's his thing. So he gonna do it. But academically, I needed him to be challenged. And at his new school, the academic people, he was a part of the IB program, taking AP classes, speaking to the youth at the elementary school because they pushed him into leadership, which that other school was not going to do for him as a Black man. And that's what I needed.
Right. Well, the thing about that whole transfer for Tyler was that he grew slower than Kevin. His torso, it took him, until he got into the 11th grade for his torso to grow, and I know that's what they was looking at. His legs was long, his arms was long, and he was a real humble kid. He didn't say a whole lot, but he could play the game and he was smart, but you never challenged him. So if you're not going to challenge him as a 10th grader playing JV, I'm not giving you a chance at the junior year to play in Boston. We're not doing it. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Not on my watch.
I think parents need to hear that. Like, I always, you guys know how I do. I point out some things. Guys, parents, you're integral to the process. It's you that has to notice. It's you that has to track. It's you that has to make the strategic decisions, because if you don't make the strategic decisions, your child is not positioned to get noticed by the college coaches that you want to notice them. So specifically, every parent should be involved in the process, in the recruiting journey. You should be on social media just like your kid is. You should be aware of who's contacting them, who's talking to them, who's texting them, who's direct messaging them, because Angela talked about it. She was the follow-up queen. I'm gonna let you handle it, but I'm gonna follow up on it. If your
I
response
love it.
is not right, okay, well, hold up, wait a minute. You asked him what he said. Okay, I gave you the opportunity to handle it. Let me go on and clean it up. Let me clean it up.
Yep. I'm
Starting
with
the
you on that.
process early, like
Yep.
Angela said. Okay, she can do miracles junior year if you let her. But we really want you ninth grade and 10th grade. Start the
Right.
process early, and this is crucial for kids that are coming out, because it is my belief, based on conversations that I have had and things that I've observed, that 2022, 23, and 24 will be impacted by the changes that are like COVID is just going to ripple up until
Yep.
at least 2024. So starting early is huge. And we already talked about it. She gave you the game. Highlights that are catchy, highlights that engage college coaches, because they're not going to give you your 9 minutes. And
Right. Right.
please know that the music that you playing, you might like it, but they're not really caring about the music and the transitions. They want and making sure that you have a great relationship with your high school coach, so that when college coaches request game film, full game film, that is
Mm-hmm.
available. And also, Toliver, what you say? Attitude. How are you? Angela, you pointed this out as well. Are you taking plays off? If you're not the star, how many penalties do you have because your attitude is bad? Like, the body of work is not just you in action. It's also, what do they observe about you when you're not the star of the show on a particular
Right.
play? Like, parents, you got a lot of free game today. A lot of free game, that if you just go back through each of the questions, you can really build a road. Like, you guys just gave them a roadmap of a full checklist of what parents and student athletes should be doing, and must do, to give themselves a fighting chance.
Absolutely.
Like, that was
Yes.
so huge. So I want to be respectful of your time. I know football is my jam. I can talk about it all day, but I do want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. This is our second recruiting installment. We will be back next week, and we're going to talk recruiting from a basketball perspective. So this is Jamesetta, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the 10-4 YouTube show. We'll see you guys next week.